8 types of people. You should never help. Imagine standing by a raging river, watching people attempt to cross. Some struggle with all their might, desperately fighting against the current, while others barely make an effort, simply flailing in place. As a compassionate person, your first instinct is to help, to reach out a hand, throw a rope, or do whatever it takes to rescue them. But the more you assist, the more you notice something unsettling. Some of these people don't just fail to cross the river, they don't even try. Worse, a few of them seem resentful of your help, as if your efforts to support them somehow offend them. You step back, exhausted from throwing lifelines to those who either misuse them or don't want them in the first place. And that's when you recall the wisdom of Stoicism, the ancient philosophy that teaches us to act with reason, not just emotion, and to focus our energy where it truly matters. In this analogy, the river represents life, and the people trying to cross symbolize the different personalities we encounter. Stoicism, a philosophy rooted in wisdom and virtue, reminds us that while helping others is noble, it is equally important to recognize when our efforts are being wasted. Great Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca emphasize that we must be selective about whom we extend our support to. Life is short, and our resources, time, energy, and compassion are limited. If we spend all our energy helping those who neither appreciate nor benefit from it, we miss the opportunity to make a meaningful impact on those who truly need and deserve our support. This is the reality of knowing when to stop offering help to certain types of people. Some will drag you down, drain your energy, and never value your efforts. While this may sound harsh, Stoicism teaches that wisdom lies in recognizing when to walk away. This is not about being cruel or indifferent. It's about being wise enough to understand that helping certain people may only enable their problems, or even worse, harm you in the process. In today's video, we will explore 8 types of people whom Stoic philosophy warns us to think twice about before offering help. Choosing whom to help is not selfish. It is a way to protect yourself from negative influences while ensuring your mind remains strong and at peace. Are you wasting your kindness on the wrong people? Let's find out. The ungrateful Stoic philosophy emphasizes the value of gratitude in life. A grateful person not only expresses appreciation, but also strengthens the deep connection between giving and receiving within a community. In contrast, an ungrateful person disrupts this balance, fostering negativity and weakening the spirit of mutual support. Ungrateful people rarely acknowledge the value of what they have. They constantly demand more and never feel satisfied. But why does Stoicism advise us to avoid helping them? An ungrateful person not only fails to express gratitude, but may even make you feel like your help is an obligation rather than a voluntary act. Imagine assisting someone only to receive a cold stare, silence, or even criticism that your help wasn't good enough. Your kindness is not only unappreciated, but becomes a source of frustration and disappointment. As the famous Stoic philosopher Cicero once said, gratitude is not only the greatest virtue, but the parent of all others. Without gratitude, all good deeds become tainted. In today's world, we frequently encounter such situations. Think of a co-worker who constantly asks for favors but never acknowledges your efforts, or a family member who repeatedly expects financial support but never expresses appreciation or takes steps to improve their situation. These interactions leave us feeling drained and stuck, in a never-ending cycle. So, should we continue helping such people, knowing that our support only fosters their dependence and moves them further from true self-improvement? Instead of wasting our energy on those who will never appreciate it, Stoicism encourages us to direct our help toward those who value it and will use it to better their lives. Helping the ungrateful is like pouring water into a broken vase. No matter how much you pour, it will never hold. Stoic wisdom teaches us to act with virtue, not for recognition. However, this does not mean we should allow ourselves to be emotionally drained by people who continuously disregard our support. In personal life, consider a friend who repeatedly borrows money. You lend him money not because you expect something in return, but because you care. However, when it's time to repay, he doesn't acknowledge the favor or show gratitude. Instead, he returns with yet another request. This is a one-way street. In business, helping an ungrateful coworker can increase your workload while offering no improvement in your relationship. This coworker will continue relying on you, showing no appreciation or willingness to support you in return. The lazy and Stoic philosophy, purposeful action and wise use of time are fundamental principles. The renowned Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you waste your time, you will never get it back." This highlights the immense value of every moment in life, which is precisely why lazy people do not deserve our help. Laziness is not just about inaction, it is a conscious refusal to take meaningful action. Instead of facing reality and fulfilling basic life responsibilities, lazy individuals choose the easiest path, avoiding effort, procrastinating, and surrendering to circumstances. Lazy people don't just harm themselves, they drain the time and energy of those who genuinely want to help and motivate them. A real-life example. Imagine you have a friend who constantly complains about his job, his life, or the struggles he faces. Every time you talk to him, the conversation revolves around his inability to find solutions. You patiently listen and even offer practical solutions, suggesting a job search, learning new skills, or changing his environment. But over time, you realize he hasn't taken a single step toward improvement. He remains stuck, waiting for someone else to fix his problems. Why? Because he is used to avoiding responsibility and expects others to rescue him. In today's world, these people exist in different forms. Some always expect others to solve their problems, while others constantly blame circumstances but refuse to take action. A common example is people who are financially dependent on family or friends, yet always find excuses to avoid taking responsibility for their own lives. This doesn't just exhaust those around them, it also traps them in a deeper cycle of laziness and passivity. But this raises a bigger question. Is their laziness an inherent trait, or is it a product of circumstances and upbringing? This leads to an ethical dilemma. Should we always walk away, or is there a way to inspire them to change? Each person must decide based on the specific situation. But one thing is clear, no one can save a lazy person unless they choose to save themselves. The harsh truth. Lazy people refuse to grow, refuse to take action, and betray the trust of those who help them. Stoic philosophy teaches us to value our time and energy and not waste them on those who do not deserve it. Ask yourself, are you helping a lazy person without seeing any change? If the answer is yes, stop. Your time is more valuable. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that every individual is responsible for their own actions and personal growth. Helping someone who refuses to help themselves is like pushing a car stuck in neutral. No matter how hard you push, it won't move unless it engages its own engine. In friendships, a lazy friend will constantly ask for help with projects, advice, or favors. They don't need your help to succeed. They rely on your effort to avoid doing anything themselves. By continuously supporting them, you prevent them from developing the initiative and discipline necessary for growth. In work environments, helping a lazy coworker creates an imbalance in the workplace. Others notice that this person is not contributing while you take on extra responsibilities. This breeds resentment among your colleagues and, worse, encourages the lazy coworker to continue depending on others instead of improving their work ethic. Next, the irresponsible. Before we move on, here's a question for you. Does everyone truly deserve help, even if they never take responsibility for their own actions? This leads us to the third type of people you should never help, the irresponsible. The irresponsible. In Stoic philosophy, responsibility is a core value. The irresponsible are not just those who fail to complete tasks properly, but also those who refuse to face the consequences of their actions, leaving others to suffer from their mistakes. Stoicism teaches that helping such people is not only futile, but can also drag us away from inner peace and clarity. Irresponsible individuals fail to recognize that their actions impact not just themselves, but the entire community. A modern example includes those who break laws but evade the consequences. They might drive recklessly, ignore rules, or neglect their civic duties, causing harm to innocent people. Unfortunately, when society forgives such irresponsibility, it ultimately pays the price. Why should we avoid helping the irresponsible? Helping an irresponsible person only enables them to continue their path of recklessness. It not only harms them, but diminishes the value of our efforts and kindness. Assisting someone who refuses to take accountability does not contribute to their growth. It only reinforces their stagnation and destructive behavior. Real-world example: irresponsible leaders. One of the most dangerous forms of irresponsibility is poor leadership. Many organizations suffer because their leaders refuse to acknowledge mistakes. When a leader fails to take responsibility for their actions, the entire team or company suffers. This leads to loss of trust, confusion, and ultimately, collapse. Think about it. Would employees continue to respect and follow a leader who refuses to admit failures? Stoic philosophy does not teach us to turn away from compassion, but it does teach us to be selective about who deserves our help. As Jesus once said, "Do not throw pearls before swine." This means we should not waste valuable things on those who fail to appreciate them. Kindness, generosity, and support are the pearls of life. If we offer them to irresponsible people, they will be wasted and unappreciated. The harsh truth: life is a series of meaningful actions, and each action comes with responsibility. How can we expect progress if we are unwilling to take ownership of our choices? Irresponsible people not only reject personal accountability, but also destroy trust and mutual understanding within society. Following the Stoic path, be mindful of who you help. True assistance is not about rescuing the irresponsible, it's about creating opportunities for them to learn responsibility. Helping an irresponsible person is like building a house on quicksand. No matter how well you construct it, the foundation will always collapse under the weight of poor decisions. Family and workplace examples. Family. Helping an irresponsible sibling or relative might mean constantly bailing them out of financial trouble or covering for their bad decisions. You may think you are being supportive, but in reality, you are enabling their lack of accountability. By always stepping in to fix their problems, you are preventing them from facing the real consequences of their actions, which stunts their personal growth. Workplace. A boss or co-worker who routinely fails to do their job might rely on you to fix their mistakes. You might help them once or twice out of kindness, but if this becomes a pattern, you will eventually be exhausted. Stoics believed in self-discipline and personal responsibility. People who repeatedly demonstrate irresponsibility do not embody these virtues, and helping them does little to promote their growth. The manipulators. Have you ever felt manipulated, maybe at work, in your family, or even in a close relationship? These people rarely make direct demands. Instead, they skillfully manipulate emotions and situations to make you comply with their wishes without you even realizing it. Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes self-control and avoiding emotional entanglements, warns us that helping manipulators is one of the biggest mistakes we can make. Real-world example, Britney Spears' father. Many public figures have fallen victim to manipulators. One of the most well-known cases is Britney Spears' conservatorship under her father. For over 10 years, her father controlled not only her finances, but also her personal life and career. She lived under strict control, unable to make decisions about her own work or life. This manipulation not only stripped away her freedom, but also caused significant psychological harm. This led to the Free Britney movement, where millions supported her fight for independence. Would it have been right to support her father in maintaining this control? Stoic wisdom teaches us to manage our relationships, values, goals, beliefs, thoughts, and emotions wisely. Supporting someone like Britney's father would have only strengthened the power of the manipulator, while the victim lost their rightful voice and autonomy. How manipulators exploit others. Manipulators distort reality to their advantage, pretending to act in your best interest. Helping a manipulator is like giving your house keys to a thief. They use your resources for their benefit, leaving you with nothing. Stoicism values honesty and integrity, but manipulators operate through deception and self-interest. In relationships, a manipulative partner may play on your emotions, making you feel guilty if you don't comply with their demands. They position themselves as victims, using your kindness against you. Over time, their hidden control can lower your self-worth and independence. Stoicism warns us against those who twist our generosity for their gain, as this undermines our ability to act rationally and virtuously. In the workplace, manipulators may use flattery or pressure to make you do tasks that are their responsibility. Once the work is done, they take all the credit, leaving you exhausted and unrecognized. Helping manipulators only strengthens their ability to exploit others while weakening your ability to act justly. The Stoic perspective on manipulation. Ultimately, Stoic philosophy teaches that true freedom lies in controlling our own minds and actions. Helping manipulators does not free them. It enslaves us to their control. Our help should never turn us into victims of exploitation. it should always contribute to positive growth for both parties. Manipulators use others for personal gain, twisting situations to suit their needs while pretending to act in your best interest. Stoicism teaches us to see through deception and act wisely, not emotionally. We should never waste our kindness on those who abuse it. Helping the wrong people doesn't just hurt us, it strengthens the toxic cycles that damage society. As you reflect on this, take a moment to ask yourself, have you ever unknowingly helped someone who was manipulating you? How did it affect you? Congratulations! You've reached the midpoint of this lesson. Your presence here proves your commitment to self-improvement. Now, shift your focus to the remaining 5 types of people you should never help, while taking a moment to reflect on how these lessons apply to your life. The chronic critics. Have you ever felt surrounded by people who constantly judge and criticize no matter how hard you try? No matter what you do, they always find a reason to devalue your efforts. Stoic philosophy teaches us how to understand and deal with such people, chronic critics. The nature of chronic critics. Chronic critics see life through a negative lens. They don't seek solutions or improvements. Instead, they amplify and spread dissatisfaction. A chronic critic is someone who always looks for flaws, no matter how minor, in others. Their goal isn't to contribute positively, but to bring others down, creating a sense of inferiority in their targets. Stoicism emphasizes the difference between constructive criticism and destructive criticism. Constructive criticism comes from people with good intentions who genuinely want to help you improve. Chronic criticism, on the other hand, is driven by negativity and resentment. This is the key difference between someone who wants to help and someone who simply wants to tear down. Why do chronic critics behave this way? Often, chronic critics suffer from deep insecurities and internal dissatisfaction. When they see others succeed or achieve something positive, they immediately feel threatened or inadequate. To cope, they criticize, not to help, but to bring others down to their level. This raises an important question. If you try to help a chronic critic, will they actually change? The truth is, you cannot change someone who doesn't want to change. Chronic critics are not interested in your help because their goal isn't self-improvement. It's maintaining their own sense of superiority through criticism. Workplace, example, leaders who criticize without guidance. A great leader provides useful advice to help their employees grow. A bad leader constantly points out flaws without offering solutions. They don't help the team move forward. Instead, they demoralize employees, lower productivity, and sometimes even cause the collapse of an entire organization. The Stoic approach. Protect your energy. We can't please everyone, and it's important to be selective about who deserves our time and energy. Stoicism teaches us to protect ourselves from external negativity. Chronic critics are a clear example of people we cannot control. They aren't worth the investment of our efforts because they don't seek change. They only wish to maintain their negative worldview. Instead of wasting energy on them, preserve your kindness for those who truly deserve it, those who are willing to grow and improve. Why? Helping chronic critics is useless. Helping a chronic critic is like planting seeds in toxic soil. No matter how well you nurture them, the environment will never allow them to grow. In friendships, chronic critics constantly undermine your ideas and efforts, even when you try to help them. They will criticize the way you help, finding flaws where none exist. This behavior drains your energy and makes you doubt your own worth. In the workplace, helping a chronic critic leads to frustration. No matter how well you complete a task, they will find something wrong with it. Constructive criticism is valuable, but chronic critics focus on fault-finding rather than fostering improvement. Stoicism teaches us to act for the greater good, but constant negativity only creates an atmosphere of resentment and dissatisfaction. Join the discussion. Has your help ever truly benefited someone, or was it a wasted effort? We want to hear your stories in the comments below. The narcissists. Have you ever wondered if you should help those who believe the world revolves around them? Narcissists don't just crave attention. They expect the world to cater to them. According to Stoic philosophy, helping narcissists is not only pointless, but also harmful to your own well-being. The reality of narcissists. Narcissists are so consumed by their own self-importance that they cannot accept mistakes or confront their flaws. They only want praise, and they reject anyone who dares to criticize or advise them. This makes any form of help useless because they refuse to accept the possibility of growth. Imagine trying to help someone understand that they need to change their approach to succeed, but instead of listening, they convince themselves that they are already perfect. Would you still want to help? Stoicism's take on narcissists. Stoic wisdom teaches us to focus on what is within our control. As Epictetus once said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Helping a narcissist will not change their view of themselves or the world. Instead, they may see it as further validation of their inflated ego. This diminishes the value of your help and reinforces their stubbornness and arrogance. Narcissists in the modern world. Narcissists exist in all environments, from personal relationships to public settings. They dominate conversations, turning every situation into a stage for self-promotion. In social circles, a narcissist will often overshadow others, constantly boasting about their achievements. They rarely show interest in the emotions or contributions of others. Over time, their relationships become imbalanced and distant because their friends no longer feel valued. At work, a narcissistic boss or co-worker will take credit for others' work, demand constant validation, and rarely acknowledge the contributions of their team. Stoic philosophy advises us to remain rational and avoid engaging with their arrogance. No amount of kindness or support will ever fill the void inside them. Why helping narcissists is a waste of time. Narcissists don't seek change or growth. They seek unconditional admiration. So be careful about who you choose to help. True help isn't just about giving, it's about guiding others towards self-awareness and growth. But narcissists, with their closed hearts and proud minds, cannot accept that lesson, and they probably don't deserve your efforts. Now, we would like to introduce you to another equally negative type of person you should avoid. From a Stoic philosophy perspective, opportunists are not only ungrateful, but are constantly looking for ways to take advantage of others, even in the most difficult situations. Offering help to such people is not just a waste of time, but also a way to encourage unethical behavior. Let's continue exploring why you should never help opportunists in the next part of this video. Stoicism teaches us that true value lies in living by moral principles and maintaining virtue. Opportunists do not live by the values of sincerity and honesty. They use the help of others solely to achieve their personal goals without caring about those who support them. Helping them not only harms us, but also contributes to the degradation of societal values. Opportunists often appear in situations where they can gain more than they deserve. They do not put in the effort, do not share the burden, but are always present when it's time to reap the rewards of someone else's hard work. For example, in the workplace, an opportunist might avoid all meetings, dodge responsibilities, but when success comes, they are the first to step up and claim credit. They build nothing but always know how to profit from others' efforts. The question is, should we help someone who seeks only personal gain without contributing anything to the common cause? If you continue to help them, are you really aiding their growth, or are you just reinforcing their unethical behavior? When we help an opportunist, we do not see any real positive change. Instead, we feed into their bad habits by giving them undeserved opportunities. We unintentionally encourage their selfish behavior and push away those who are truly worthy of valuable opportunities. In reality, we often encounter opportunists not only at work, but also in everyday life. In community activities, we frequently see opportunists appearing when they see personal benefit, but quickly disappearing when real commitment is required. These individuals not only weaken team spirit, but also drain the energy of those around them. Opportunists do not deserve our help. They are not only ungrateful, but also exploit the kindness of others. Stoicism teaches that kindness and assistance should be used responsibly. The best way to help an opportunist is to stop allowing them to take advantage of our goodwill. That way, we force them to face the consequences of their actions. In the end, kindness and help are only truly valuable when given to the right people. If we waste time and effort helping opportunists, we are only promoting unethical behavior. We must not only protect ourselves, but also preserve the noble values we stand for. Narcissists are driven by self-importance and manipulate situations to serve their inflated sense of self-worth. Helping them is like feeding a fire. It will only grow bigger and become more destructive. Narcissists often pretend to be vulnerable or charming just to get your help, but their real goal is to boost their ego, not to genuinely improve or build a connection. In personal relationships, a narcissist might act as if they need your help, but they rarely offer anything in return. They see others as tools rather than equals who should be valued. Stoicism teaches us the importance of honest and fair treatment of others. But narcissists lack reciprocity. Offering them help only fuels their sense of entitlement and leaves you feeling exploited. In business, helping a narcissistic boss or colleague can be destructive. They are quick to take credit for work they haven't done and shift the blame when things go wrong. The Stoics believed in fairness and integrity, but narcissists twist these values for their own benefit. Helping a narcissist reinforces their toxic behavior and diminishes your own sense of fairness and balance. Stoic philosophy teaches us not to waste energy on the undeserving, especially when dealing with negative people like the envious, full of resentment and constant comparisons. These people do not deserve help. Envious individuals often cannot find joy in other people's success. Instead, they feel irritated and frustrated when others advance beyond them. This not only harms themselves, but can also negatively impact those around them. Envy is a type of poison that destroys inner peace and blinds people to their own worth, as they are constantly comparing themselves to others. The envious not only hurt themselves, but also create insecurity and negativity in the lives of those around them. The first thing to understand is that when you try to help an envious person, your efforts will be in vain. They will not appreciate your help. On the contrary, they might feel that you are establishing a power gap between you, emphasizing their weaknesses. Envious people often do not realize that the problem lies within themselves. Instead, they believe that others are responsible for the injustices they perceive as their suffering. So even if you have good intentions, the envious may see your support as a challenge or an attack. A great example of this is Steve Jobs and John Sculley. Jobs invited Sculley to Apple, hoping to build a company together, but Sculley's envy turned their partnership into a rivalry. Instead of valuing and learning from Jobs, Sculley felt threatened by his talent and eventually forced Jobs out of the company he founded. However, Sculley's envy led to a terrible decision, because Jobs later returned to Apple and transformed it into one of the biggest companies in the world. This shows that helping envious people is not only useless, but can also lead to negative consequences. Sometimes the best approach is to keep your distance to protect yourself and your inner peace, just like pouring water into a cup with a hole in it. You cannot truly help an envious person because the negativity inside them will always leak out, no matter how hard you try. Instead of focusing on them, it's better to invest your time and energy in helping those who appreciate it and strive for growth. In the end, Stoic philosophy teaches us that helping others is a noble act. But we must choose the right people to protect our own balance and peace. What do you think about this? Is there someone in your life whom you consider undeserving of your help? When choosing whom to help, the key is not just kindness, but wisdom. Stoicism teaches that our energy and time are limited, and we must protect them from negative people. Some people, no matter how sincere you are, will never appreciate your help and may even harm you in return. Ungrateful, lazy, envious, or manipulative people often carry internal struggles that only they can resolve. Our intervention not only fails to help them, but may actually harm us. Remember, kindness does not mean sacrificing your inner peace. Sometimes refusing to help is the best way to protect your values and maintain balance in life. Save your support for those who appreciate it and are willing to change, because that is the only truly valuable investment for both you and them. If you like this video, please leave a comment with 1 to let us know, or 0 if you think we can improve our content. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to. Spread this philosophy to a wider audience. Stay with us to receive more Stoic lessons in the next videos. Together, we can make the world a better place.